I'm recording the session. Okay, what we will do today, we'll continue from where we stopped last time. We start talking about preparing data for machine learning. We talked about data processing, how important it is, but there's certain things that you prepare data for machine learning. Today really will be a turning point. And honestly, I really advise all of you to take software engineering as well. You will see there's so many things that you can do to really download data, manipulate data. There's so much you can do in machine learning. And machine learning, we want to focus on the machine learning, not in data preparation. We do some, but we really want to do preparation for machine learning, not as a data preparation is generally speaking. So I hope eventually every one of you will take those ones. I just let me share my screen. This is I really bet for you guys. You will have the whole thing is automated. See how small it. I commented out. So I commented out. Not this one. Yeah, I commented out, but such a small code downloading all the data from the internet. I put it on the internet, some Excel files, not this one. This one we did already. This one I added. We'll deal with it next time. Okay, when I give you the projects, you're gonna do the projects with this one. You know, this is really automatically, see how short this one, it's advanced. I didn't want to put it here. I put it there, but I'm not gonna use it here. But I will show you when we get there, such a small code. Basically, it really downloading all those Excels automatically.
We say Nyeka.
Yeah, thank you. So, and you see, it downloading really all those Excel and putting them in the right place. In fact, it downloading a zip file, is opening the Excel from the zip file, and then is deleting the zip file because it doesn't really need it. And then what it does, it goes over each one of them. By the way, those are huge. If you look at them, let me open it. That's a huge Excel file. I use only Ubuntu, so Ubuntu has its own. Let's see if we can open this one on the Ubuntu because it's big. Hold a second, let me try that again. Okay. Why it doesn't like me? No idea. Let me try. I just played with it earlier. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. It's a huge. You have 4,128. The first one is the title. Is all the data, all financial data about companies traded in the stock exchange. Now, of course, this is the wrong way to deal with data. So what I did is, after organizing all this data, I wrote for you a little, very small program, by the way, very, very small. You can see it's checking if you already downloaded it. If you downloaded it, which I did here for myself, it doesn't do anything. So then when it's done, it's running for all those years and activating very small function right in the end here for each one of the Excel. And that's it. And it put the whole data in a nice database the way it's supposed to be. It's about five tables, and that's beautiful. It takes for each Excel, it takes him about an hour to put it in. But there's an advanced way to do it so it can work parallel. Okay. I didn't really want to do it here, and I didn't want to get this one. I will explain a little bit because I do want you utilize this data to do the analysis for this course. That will be a benefit for you. I talked a little bit to Sergey. What I'm going to do in certificate 3 of software engineering, really 3, 4, I should really say, we will build up a customer relationship management. That's a real project. In software engineering 2, we actually teach how you make a web application, not just website. That's different. And now, thank God, I believe in 3 months from now, we'll have already students that actually can be consultant, which is really in software engineering. With you guys, I hope that another 3 months after the next semester, you'll be able already to do data analysis. But I think that what holding us up a little bit is your lack of computer science, in a sense of the lack of software engineering. I think it would be a good idea if we can combine you guys to take software engineering too. That will help a big time. Anyway, so for the project, the reason I introduced that because we're gonna use the software. We're gonna use the this data for the assignment. By the way, if you go into the website, I start writing it down for you. I just put the link where you can, if you want to download, just downloading the data, you can download it from chapter 2, by the way. You know what, let me open another one. I don't want to get this distracted. Let me open another one. If you go to Academy City, and in fact, if you go here, in fact, this is really good that you can do all of that by yourself. It's so easy now. You have all the libraries and everything. If you go to machine learning and you go here, you see I'm building up for you the assignment for this course in chapter 2. I added another folder here called assignment. In this assignment, by the way, you can see a zip file. In fact, all the data is here, but this is not the way that you should work. And
Amos,
yeah,
I'm not seeing a screen.
I did sharing, didn't I? Oh, sorry. No, I did do sharing. You can't see? So let me redo it. Tell me if you see it now. You see it now? So if you go to for end-to-end machine learning project, the last one is assignment. When you click on it, it will open up this one. All the data, this is a big data set, by the way. And I wrote for you a code when you go into chapter 2, there's assignment, and I will talk about it next time, okay? This will be for you to run, and you let it run overnight, it should be fine, and it will put the whole data in the right place, okay? And then next time, in the next session, I will explain about this data and what the assignment is about, okay? So let's go back to our stuff for today. And what I would like to talk about is we talked a little bit about missing data. How do we handle it? We run all of that stuff. So today we're going to talk about preparing data for machine learning. I skipped this one intentionally. I'm going to come back to that today, okay? This is a comment, which is an important one. And I will give examples today, okay? Now, one thing we talked about is missing data. What does it mean, missing data? Let's say I have some record and one of the columns or two of the columns or three of the columns have some missing data. What should I do with the missing data? Let's say I had the database, we have more than 20,000. And if you recall, one of the database, one of the columns has missing data. What should I do? I will delete the rows in which I have missing data. Missing data, it means whoever gave me the data, I didn't put the data for some of the data that's supposed to be there. Now, in a table, you have columns, you have rows, and if you have a missing data, you can delete the row or you can delete the column. Now, deleting the column, usually it's stupid, not a good idea, because you're losing a very important information. Depends. If you have a lot of missing data of that column, then you do remove it. Like if you're missing 30%, you definitely should remove that column. Rows, if you're only missing few of them, you might can maybe erase them if you have a lot of data. So you say if I have 4,000, we have 20,000 here. If I'm missing from 20,000, I'm missing 100. So I say, okay, I will delete those ones. That won't be the end of the world. But if you're missing more than that, you're going to lose a lot of data. And there's a lot of tricks and a lot of stuff. By the way, I'm not going to go over that in this course, but next semester, I will go over on a algorithm I developed. In fact, I published it, how you can minimize erasing rows and columns. I call it a zigzag method. And we'll talk about it next semester. In this semester, what we can do is just complete the data. So let's take the example, I think, okay? You know, I rather to just show it in here. This is really one of my, see when I click on prepare, this is in chapter 2, yeah, we got here. When I click on it, it does really run and it show me everything that it done, it shows it to me here. So I'm gonna go over, in this one, I did spend the time to really have a nice notations for you. And let's go over it step by step. That's a very important section. So if you go into Algo and you're already supposed to know, this is the object that we defined in chapter 2. In the view is where we have all the code. And as I organized it for you, you know already that every topic, I give the title is here, prepare the data for machine learning. So you know this is really the code that just ran right now. Meaning that if I'm choosing this one, it's really running that code and it shows to me right here because it's really got to here. So let's see and identify. See, it says cleaning data. You see that one? It's splitting this one first. So I can find it right here. If you can tell, here we go. Constructor, this is the constructor. And then right after that, it will say, it should say cleaning data. Let me see. Here we go. Here are those two rows. See that? And it says cleaning data. Okay. What does it show me right after that? Is taking the data of the housing. Remember, that's the data we downloaded. We looked at it last time. We even saw the chart for each column and all of those ones. So I just printed it out just so you can see it, but we are familiar already with this database. One column, that's what we call categorical. You know, how close you are to the ocean. So that one we will treat separately, but I would like to see, by the way, if you remember total bedrooms, some of them has a missing data. You see, it says NA, that's missing data. How did I get those missing data and how did I find them? This is really this line of the code. What does it do? It said, you know, let me do it in one step. I just want to show what insight is. Only this one by itself. Okay? And you know what, let me leave it there so we don't get any error. But I want to show you what this one does. This one, in fact, it goes to the data frame of housing and you see if there is any null. When I write any, I found is null. I mean, he's looking in the house, the whole data is really is a table. It's a huge table, as you can tell. It's a huge table. He's going over the whole table and he look for all the columns. I tell him in any column, go row by row, but if there is any row in which one of the columns is missing data, if axis one means columns. If any columns in any row is missing data, okay, if any one of them is missing data, it's supposed to be true. If there's nothing missing, write false. So I'm going to print this one, but as you see, I think we showed it last time. I'll show it again. You'll see a lot of false because most of the data is not missing. We have most of the data, okay? So I'm going to just print it again, okay? Just for the, okay? If I refresh the screen here and rerun it, prepare data for machine learning, it did run. I'm going to here, go back again. I should really get a column, okay? That you see here is the column. It says false, false, false. It doesn't show me all of them, okay? It doesn't really show me all of them, okay? But some of them are true. Otherwise, it means no missing data. But I know there are missing data. So I just wanted to show you what that insight does. It goes row by row. Wherever you found missing data, it will say true. The truth really here is not printing that out. And in minutes, we will find. See, when I take this one inside, if you look inside here, it's like in the parentheses, I'm putting it inside the data frame. That means give me only the rows in which this is true. So therefore, when I'm printing this one, no surprise, I'm getting only the one, in fact, in this column is all missing data. So now this one is looking at the whole huge table and now is giving me all the rows in which one of the columns there is missing data. It's already happened to be that only this column has a missing data, okay? And now the question, what am I supposed to do with them? Should I delete all those rows or delete the whole column? Definitely don't delete all the column. There really aren't that many. There's about 120 or something like that. We have more than 20,000. So you really shouldn't delete it, okay? So after I did that, in fact, this is really what is printing. You can tell I'm printing the rows in which we have missing data. See, this is why I put lines here so you can find immediately where the code is, okay? Then later on, I say, you know what? Show me only the column in which I have a missing data. I know that this column has a missing data. So now from the rows, I take only this column. No surprise, I'm getting all of those missing data, okay? And we already know, we have seen it before. Anybody remember what we saw it before? Let me scroll up, see if I printed it up here. No, I didn't. So let me skip, it's okay. We did it in the previous sessions, so I'm not gonna go back to that. Now the question is, what am I gonna do with these rows? One way is to take the median of the other rows. We have, as I said, about 20,000 rows. We can take a median of the rows that we don't have a missing data and use that and fill the data where is it missing. And that's what we're really doing next. The first thing is this line, what it does, is calculating the median. See, a function median, by the way, the function median, it belongs to the object data frame. Housing is a data frame from Panda library. And I'm taking only the column total bedroom and calculating the median. After I calculate, I just printing it out. So when I see here, 433.0, it is really the median. By the way, remind you what a median is. It's the number that is in the middle. I have half of the data above it, half of the data below it. It's not the average. It's not the mean, it's the median. And a median is a good number, better than the mean, because it's not being affected by outlier. If I have a huge number, the average might get destroyed. But the median is a good one. It's not depending on outliers. It's a very important comment. I'll get back to that more in the next semester. Okay, it's a very important point. And we'll talk about also scaling. I will mention that again. Median is a good one to use if you have missing data. Okay, now that I have the median, I would like to put the data or fill the data and see how I do that. This line is a very important one. I take only the data set, only the rows in which this one is missing. I know, remember, sample incomplete rows, it's only the rows that don't have data in this column. So I'm telling him there is another function in Panda, in the data frame called fill NA, fill missing data. And I'm telling him, I want you, whatever is missing, put the median. Take this number that I found, the 433, fill it up. And this is a little tricky, we use it a lot. In place means, I think I showed it last time, if I didn't put it this way, I had to write, this is only calculating it, but it's not really filling the rows. So I would have to do something like that. Okay, so just to have it shorter, instead of having to do that, all what I can do, and machine learning people like it this way, is just put this one back in here. Means, I'm sorry. Okay, just it means, put the data and update the rows. So that's what it means, in place. Put the data, but don't give me a new data set, just replace this data set. In fact, this is the table, the data frame. So just replace that one and keep it with the same name. Okay, now that I will print it again, the same column, no surprise, I'm getting all those places 433 because I filled it up. This is really the non-machine learning people, the what they do. That's what I said last time. I thought it's a good idea to go over it again. And now that's one way to put it. What is the right machine learning style to do it? The same things. And I really recommend you start getting used to it, although the first time it looks cumbersome, but then as you get used to it, you will see how easy it is and how elegant it is, because it has a very consistent way of doing things. And that's I'll go over that note that I skipped last time. Okay, how do I do it with Imputer? Okay, Scikit-learn library has several algorithm, imputer, estimator. You can give them any name you want. And one of them is called a simple imputer. What does it do? First of all, if you recall, the data we're looking at has two types of columns. All of those are numbers, all of them, in fact, beside the last one. The last one, it's not a number, it is a category. So I'm going to deal with the category differently. In a minute, you will see. Secondly, in fact, I know that it doesn't have any missing data, so I don't really care. But so I'm dropping, you see the function drop? Everybody see that? Yeah. Do you hear me, guys?
Yes.
Raman?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So the function drop, it's part of the data frame. So it's dropping this column. The reason is I want only columns that has only numbers. It's very important in machine learning, and you will see. I want only numbers. So I'm going to drop this one, and eventually I'm going even to turn this one to categories. We've done it. I'll show it again. So first thing, I'm dropping that column. And second, I'm creating what is called imputer. Imputer, by the way, imputer, by the way, is imputer, by the way, it is like a algorithm that fill up missing data. It's called imputer. We do imputation. There's many methods. It's a whole field, a very important field. And scikit-learn has some already built in, a special one that is done. So what I do, stage number one, okay, all of them work the same. Stage number one, I just create an object of that type. So I call it imputer. And it takes a parameter called strategy. Strategy, I tell him, you know what, I want you to use the median. For now, this line doesn't do anything beside that I created an object that has the ability to do things. Stage number two, after I define it, please notice that function, it's called a fit. And you will see is also in estimation, we'll use the fit function. Fit means the imputer, I defined you to use strategy of median. Go and learn. Fit is another word for learn. What are the medians in the columns of each one of those columns? Ignore, of course, the missing data. Remember, this one we did primitive, so I didn't really change the data. Now, in fact, I'm doing the whole things one more time. That's why I'm taking the housing, okay? So if I tell him I remove that one, I have a new housing, I call it housing number, it has some missing data, and I'm telling the imputer, please go and learn what is the median in their housing. So this fit tells him, learn according to the strategy, what is the median. By the way, how do I know it did learn it well? This line does it. This one, give me some output. You see, I'm printing. Input that statistics underscore. By the way, there is only two kind. I will show you in a minute the other one. But most of the imputer will have statistics. It will tell you what did he learn. What did he learn? Let's look at it. We pointed out. Here we go. He pointed out this one. He pointed out, here we go. He pointed out for me the median of all the columns, okay? That's what the fit function did. So one more time, I define imputer, I fit it to the data, and he learned the median. Why did he learn the median? Because I asked him the strategy to be the median. So he's doing this for all the columns. By the way, just to show you another way you could have done it, if you do it manually, you can take the data frame housing number and you do the function median and you call values, it will give you the same results. Okay? But I like this one because this is going to work in all the cases. I don't have to think about it. This one is easy case. Okay? So this one I wouldn't use. But just to show you that it does the same things, I added this one. I can really comment that one. I don't really need it. This is just for, just to show you how it works. By the way, no surprise, in this column is putting 433, but he did it for all the other column. I'm not going to use the other one. This is the only one that has missing data. The next one is what makes it nice. See, after I define stage number 1, stage number 2, I learn. This one I can look really at the data if I want to. I don't really have to, but it's nice. The next step is do the work. Go ahead and fill in the data. So the transform, fit and transform is two functions that works together. Okay, always in all of them, you'll have both of them. You will see when we get to models, we will use the fit in and transform. And sometimes we use only the fit. We don't do the transform because there's no point unless we do it on the train data sets. But we'll get to that, don't worry. And we do it the same things on predictions. But the beauty here, again, I create an object, I use the fit, I use the transform. By the way, there's another function called fit transform. It does those two together, okay? Now, what do I have in the X? The X now is really, in another word, is with the filling data. I have everything is filled up. No more missing data. That's what I have in the X. By the way, just to remind you, in fact, it doesn't really seem clear immediately. It's kind of a little confusing. Although I'm putting the housing numbers is a data frame, the transform function always return a table of NumPy. NumPy, as you recall, we use it also for calculation. It's really kind of a little bothering a lot of people. Why do I need NumPy and data frame? Why don't I use just one of them? And the reason is data frame is really nice to manipulate the data. Data frame and NumPy is very good when you do a lot of calculation. And machine learning, we have a lot of calculations, okay? So that's why we really use both of them. So remember, this one is returning as a NumPy. The next line, it's nothing but putting it back to be as a data frame, okay? So I do Panda, PD, data frame, I put the X, and NumPy doesn't have really names to the columns. So I'm just using the same column as before. That's the purpose of this one. And then I'm just telling him, if there is an index, I use it, but as you recall, there is no index to the train data. So, okay, so now I got again the data frame. By the way, this one I just printed so you can see, this is really, don't have any missing data, shouldn't have any missing data. So if we go up here, there shouldn't be, by the way, really, this is not a really good one because, let me go down, hold a second. This one you can't really see if you do have a missing data or not, because I only take the first rows, but the missing data were much below. That's why I did the next line to convince you that all the missing data are indeed filled. And what did I do here? By the way, you remember the sample incomplete rows? I said to that, give me the index and give me the values of the index. When I use it here, there's one more thing, guys. I added that lock. If I do want to use indexes, by the way, every table has an index. It will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 if I don't tell him which index. So all what I'm telling him, give me really the indexes of this missing data rows and give it to me from these new data sets, which the data is already completed. One more time. Here we have all the data completed. But if I look only the first few ones, it won't help me. Those ones were filled already. So I'm trying to get only the rows that were missing before. And how do I do that? I take their index values and plug it in the parentheses, okay, in this one. In order to use the index instead of a column names, I have to use the dot log. You'll get used to that, believe me. The beginning, it's so confusing, it's too much information, but eventually it will be clear, okay? Finally, by the way, if I take this one away, it will show me all the rows. Okay, this is what show me all the rows. But if I want to see only one column, sorry, it will show me all the columns. If I want to see only specific column, I will just tell it, please, in this data set, in this data frame, this is a data frame. Show me only this column. That's why when I run this one, that's the result. We now can see the column, only the column of the missing data. No surprise, it's supposed to be with the mean because we filled up that column with the mean, okay? So that's the way we kind of filling data and checking that it's the whole work is done. Bottom line, how do you do it in real life? All this explanation, you really need to do most of the time what you will do, you really define, see how I will just add um, one simple row. I will take this one, see how you do it in real life. This is was designed so you can really understand the whole thing. I want to use only the feed. I will use feed and transform. And I will write it this way. This is mean if you find any missing data, go ahead, fill them up with the mean. I'm done. This is the only things I need to do in real life. The only things I did the whole long way so you can understand how it does it. And when that's the first time you see it. So I do recommend you go over all those steps, step by step, understand it, and then later on you will see when I progress faster, you will see I will make the one, fit, transform, and the hell with it, and that will be done. Okay. The choice of the matter, what you could done here, instead you can ignore all of those ones. Just right here, you can do fit transform right here. You can have done also fit transform. We'll do the work as I just did before. Okay, good. Now that we have a data set, no missing data, I'm happy. Now I can start working. This is dealing with numbers. Okay, that we did last time. I thought it was worth to go over that again because it's really hard for the first time to do. Now I'm going to move to another round, which is going into a categorical data set. Remember that original data, we had a column, which is categories. You can't really work with it in machine learning. Even if you could, you shouldn't. Why? Numbers take, letters takes a lot of memory. It will slow down. Secondly, you can't really transfer it to a NumPy. And all the calculation done in NumPy, we don't know, we won't know what to do with this column. So we really have to process this column. And by the way, this is categories. You have 1H ocean, inland, and all those kind near ocean. There are several categories we saw already in previously. There are 5 of them. I want to turn them to, first of all, change them to numbers. And after I change them to numbers, we talked that last time, they don't just change them to numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That will destroy the meaning. We will think that 4 is close to 5, meaning they're probably similar or close. 1 and 5, they are very far away. That's wrong because the categories could be randomly done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we want to remove that and we're going to do it again. I started last time and I think that's where we stopped last time. We're going to learn about one more things. By the way, this is really cool. Step number 1, I just take that variable, that column from the data set. So I have only the last column, I call it housing category. And now this is, please pay attention. This is another component called one-hot encoder. I will explain that in a second. And please pay attention. I'm doing like what I said before. He's going to do 2 stages. He's going to learn and he's going to transform. I'm doing it in one shot. Exactly as I said I will do it in the future. What does it do? Stage number 1, I'm creating an object called one-hot encoder. By the way, this is really a nice one. Let me open in Excel. I think that's what let me open this one. And no, not this one. I don't want this one. I want to open Excel like. I have one of those here. I should have one. I'll open this one. Okay. Let me open another table. And I want to explain how that works. Let's say I have the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What's going to happen is this code, you find the categories, nearby, you call it, let's say, number 1. I hope I spelled it right. And let's say near, I don't know, whatever it is, the word, okay? And it's going to turn them to numbers. But see, in machine learning, we're not going to use a variable 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because it might think that 1 and 2 are close to each other and 1, 2, 5 are far away. They're probably different, and that's wrong. So we turn those ones, whoever, as I said last time, studied the statistics a little bit, regressions, it turns it to like a dummy variable. Here we use a one-hot algorithm, meaning I have 5 categories. So I'm going to do, if it's number 1, okay, I'm going to have a vector. This is going to be 1, 0, 0, 0, 0. For the second one, this one going to be 0, 1, 0, 0, 0. Everybody got the idea? 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, and etc. 4, it means the first 3 supposed to be 0. Only the fourth location will be 1. And finally, number 5 will be that way. Now, see, I'm taking one variable x and I'm turning it to 5 variables. How many variables I will have here depends on how many categories I have. It will do it automatically. In regression, they're called dummy variables, those ones. We call it one-hot in machine learning. Okay, very, very important. And you will see we'll get to that in softmax next semester. We deal with that a lot in neural network. Extremely important topic. Okay, so what we're learning today is one hot transformation of categorical variable. So let's go back and see what's happening here. I'm telling him, first of all, take this one. This one, in fact, if I print it, I have a lot of categories. It's a word. When I'm building up encoder, okay, and the encoder, I'm telling him, I'm going to use you. So I just generated it. The next things I'm telling him, study. Study means really what he's going to do in the feed is taking all those categories, making them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then each one of them, it will make that matrix like the way I showed you. And it will go now, the transform, it will go over all the column, a long column. It will make 5 columns, but everywhere it says 1, it will put the 1 there in the first place. When it says 2, it put it in the other side. So this one, it becomes to be like 5 columns. Now I printed it for you. So let's look at that, the way it looks like. By the way, you can tell the first one is number 1 because the 1 is in the first place. This is also number 1. This is number 5. And this is number 2. This is number 1 again. And this is number 4. And that's what we did last time. Okay, I thought it's very important to go over it again and basically see how elegant it is now. How did I do it? Only 2 lines of code. I used the component, do fit transform, and I got a new variable. In fact, it's really 5 variables. So I have really 5 variables here. Normally, what I would like to do is really add it back to the X. Remember, what we did, we had the numerical numbers in the X, and that's what we did after we removed the category. We removed the category. We had a drop, we did a drop somewhere. We did a drop in the top somewhere, housing, median. Did I do the drop? Yeah, here we go. I dropped that column. So this one only numeric numbers. And now I have 5 columns representing the categorical data. Now I have ready to combine the two. I should combine the two. I will do it in a minute. For now, by the way, that means transformation. I wanted to talk about now another related topic, very important. We won't use it a lot in this semester, but next semester we will more. It's called a custom transformer. What did we do so far? We just used 2 transformers. One is the imputer, one is the simple, the one hot. But let's say I want to do my own. And there's a reason why we want to do that, because I want to touch a very important topic. So we're going to talk about custom transformer, and we're going to talk about picking up data, a model. And we will see that it's the result we get seems like beautiful, but after that we will see that it's not really that beautiful, and later on we will make our own transformer. Okay, so let me see if I really want to touch it now or I want to come back to it later on. Let's go and look at custom transformer. It did it, okay? Let's see what it is. It didn't do anything here. So it seems like it didn't do anything. So what did you do, Amos? Right? It seems like I didn't do anything. I did. It did a lot. And let me just explain what does it do. In fact, Here we go, I have a transformer here. And that transformer is doing something. By the way, you notice, I added 2 columns here. I took the original data, this is the original one, and I added 2 columns. And what those 2 columns are, okay? How did I do it? I use a custom transformer. But before I do that, I could have done it really manually too, okay? I can do it manually. Anybody wants to help me out or participate? How can I do it manually? Let me explain first what I want to do. You know, originally we have the housing, which is the whole data, correct? And the housing, we have all those columns up to this point. Now, I want to make a new variable, and I talked about it last time. If I take the room per household, what does it mean? I take total rooms. Anybody sees total rooms? Here we go. I take this column, and I want to divide it by the household numbers. Maybe this can give me a better, if I know how many bedrooms in every household, that might give me a better how congested the housing in that district. So that might be a better, maybe better even than the total bedrooms or the household. Maybe that even might be a better variable. This is called generating new variables. So I'm trying to do another variable, another one, by the way, population per household. How many people I have in every house on average in every district, okay? So that could be another variable. And maybe I want to use those variables, and maybe they are better one to help me to estimate the value of the house. Remember, our objective is to estimate the value of the house, which we already removed it from here and we put it as a target. So all those variables are supposed to explain or try to help me to predict the value of the house. So I can generate new variables in a lot of fields: chemistry, biology, politics, finance, economics, accounting, social science. All of them, you do that. Use ratios. Those are really like adding ratios. How can I add it? Very simple. I could take this one, by the way, the housing. I could have done it here. Can write housing. I will just do it in a minute in the right way to do it, an elegant way. I can take the housing and just take the column. Which column do I want? Total rooms. Just please remember, you have to put it in parentheses. And very easy, I can just divide it by housing. And here again, I wanted household. Household. That won't work. Why it will not work? Because I have to give it a name. So I could tell him, you know, I want you to give it a new name. So let's say this is the column that I want to create. This is the name that I want to put here. So I take it right from here, by the way. Happy they like me. Hopefully it won't kill me now. Yeah, I knew that. Oh, it's okay. It will be fine in a second. Okay, this one already done the work. But you know, you will get lost when you work on a big projects. If you do everything manually, just like that, you will get lost. There's a better way to do it. And that's why we do the transformer. So I'm removing this one from here. And I'm building a transformer. Transformer is like the simple loader. It's just like the one hot encoder. I'm making my own. And I decided to make my own. and to use it. Okay? So that's really what I did here. If you look at that, there is a function here that I made, and I put it somewhere. Where is the best place to put it? Anybody want to guess? You know, we have chapter 2, remember? Chapter 2, we made a file. We created there the algo 2. We can put a lot of code that we use. You know, when you make a big application, here is chapters are like a topic. And what you can really do is just put the code here. It looks really scary. By the way, this one doesn't belong to it. So I remove it. I will just close it so you don't get scared. This is really the transformer. Everybody with me? Everybody happy? Hello?
Yeah.
Yes, Sergey, you happy?
Yes.
Good. Devel, you happy? And Nika, are you happy? Everybody with me? This is a little annoying in the beginning, but you have no idea how powerful it is when you know it. And the nice things, there's a nice structure to it. What is the nice structure? All what I have to do is inherit. I'm making a class. I give it a name. I just decided to call it combine attribute addresses. And you inherit it from two ones. By the way, it really is. Just do it this way for now. Just don't even dive too much to why do you need to inherit from that. Later on, next semester, I'll spend more time on it. And we'll see it's more and more. It's just too much to manage the first time. The next things, you must have a fit function and a transform function. We saw that. We saw it in the simple imputer. We had a fit and we have a transformer. By the way, the reason I'm really inheriting from this one, this is automatically create a function of fit transform. Remember we used fit transform here in the encoder. See that? Fit and transform. When I'm making my own transformer, okay, is by inheriting from this one, or what it really does, mostly this one, is combining those two functions together. So I don't really have to think about it. The hell with it. There's another thing, is get and set. I won't get into that one, but I leave it out. That's really what this one does. But leave it away for now. Too much for one time. What I really want you to know, transformer, and that's I require you to know, you have to have a function called fit, and you have to have a function called transformer. You don't really have to have this is a constructor, by the way, the init. All classes in Python are, in fact, have an init. By the way, I don't really have to have, this function could have been just like that. I don't really have to have it altogether. I can even delete it. That will be fine. You can do that. But that will be a stupid transformer. You do want to give him some input. And in the constructor, you give him input. In this case, already what I'm doing, in fact, I'm being sophisticated, very sophisticated. I'm giving him two variables. One, if it's true or false, if I want you to add another column or not. And the other one, I'm transferring, this is really good for you. See how powerful it could be. I'm transferring to him the algo object I created before. Meaning, if you see, if I'm going now in here, I'm building up this one. Please notice, what is the algo? The algo is the algo that I created, which is inheriting from algo 2. Remember all of that? It's really Algo 2. And Algo 2 inherits from the Algo and has all those functions. And now I'm being really, really sophisticated. What do I mean by being sophisticated? Hey, I'm telling these guys, you know what? If you need any data, go ahead, take it from here. I could have transferred to him the housing, but that won't be really too smart. I already had done the hard work. I have a beautiful algo object, has everything inside, and even have function inside I might need and I might use. So why to repeat my work again? So I'm transferring to him to this one I will talk about in a second. And this one, very beautiful that you can make a transformer and you can put to it whatever you want. I decided to put to it my algo function because it has the data set, have everything inside. So I might, whatever I will want to use, I will use it right from there. Now, let's go back to this one and let's see how it's built. By the way, this is really worth gold, honestly, God. I use it so much, you have no idea how much time it saves when you really understand and you work in a nice way. By the way, I have seen other people doing similar things without it, and they're wasting pages of code for no need. And see how elegant it is. Okay? I made a class. I have the constructor. Let's look at the constructor, by the way. You know, so your life will be easy. I will just delete this one for now. I put it back later on. You don't really need it. This is really all it. Let me start from the easy one. A feed function will take the variables you want to work. In fact, it doesn't do anything. It has to return something. In my case, my feed is mean learn. In fact, in my case, I have nothing to learn. Okay? Okay? There's really nothing to learn. I could have changed it if I wanted. But I decided, and in your case, when you're starting, it's a good start. Do nothing. That's pretty cool. For you, start with putting what is the variables, put the metrics of all the variables you want to explain with it, and the Y is the target. In our case, is the housing prices. But return self. That's really important. It's really returning the object. That's all. That's easy. No brain. Do nothing. But I have to implement, otherwise I get an error. So I'm letting him get the variables, which everybody expecting to put in, do nothing with it. So that's the easy, okay? Let's look at the transformer, and then I'll get back to this one, okay? The transformer does exactly what I said before, is generating, variables. The first one is room per household, is taking the X, okay? And it takes the X, which is right here in the transformer, and it's really take I will talk about what is this index is really is the index of the rooms. I will talk about it. It takes really the numbers of the rooms from the X, dividing it by the number of household. In fact, it's doing what I did before manually, but I will explain this one in a second. All what it does a ratio of two columns. It takes the total rooms divided by the household. That's what it does here. The second one, it does the same things, then the population dividing by the same one. Let's ignore this one for now in a second. For one, let me ignore this one for now. I'll come back to that, okay? I'll come back to that in a second. After I have those two columns, by the way, those two columns, the NumPy has a function called .c underscore. Or what it does, it takes two columns, combine them together, and now I have a NumPy 2 dimensions. This is only one column. This is one column. It's adding two columns and adding it to the X. And that's why it does this, the whole table. The X is up to here. All that one is the X. Up. Okay, this is really all the X. As you remember, up to here it's the X. And now I'm telling him, take this column and this column, add them together. So if I want to add metric, a NumPy matrix or a columns, C underscore does the work. We will see later on R underscore. R is adding rows in a NumPy, okay? Okay, good. So let's go again. It's hard. That's why I'm going over it slowly. This one only does is dividing one row, one column by the other one. So I got two new columns. And here I'm combining them. Okay, that's all. Here, there's one more, is checking if this variable is true or not. If it is true, it's just doing another variable. You see that? It's just taking the bedrooms divided by the numbers of rows. So I have three variables. It's doing those two. If this is true, it's just doing the third one. Now, if I'm having three, I really have to add to the X, those, not only those two, I have to add also the third one. If I do it this way, it'll look a little nicer. Fair enough? So the only thing is, do I want also the third column or I don't? And that's why in the constructor, I put here, if I want that one or I don't. And you can be very creative. I will never do it this way in real life, but for training purposes, it's good. What I will do in real life, I will give him an array and I will tell him which column with which column to divide, okay? And that's the way I will do it, okay? But for now, I will just leave it the way it is. This is a good. If I want additional column, please, in the transform, add another one and add it to the X as well. And now I should have another column here. But if it's false, as I put it, when I called it, if you notice, I put false. So it's only returning two columns. Otherwise, it will return three. Okay? That's as far as this one concerned. This is good. Okay, beautiful. We did a lot of progress. What this one does, this is really tricky. I'll give it a try with you and see what I do, okay? What I did is I wanted to be smart. What do I mean by smart? If you notice, you know, somebody might have similar table with the same even column, but it would organize them differently. By the way, data frame doesn't have to give you always the same order. 99.99, it will give you the same order. But what happens if it will mix, if the column will be changing? I didn't want to count on it. So what I did, that's the trick that I did, okay? You can ignore, I know that this is really the column 3, 4, 5, and 6 for each one of those variables. That means if you look at column 3, what is column 3? 0, 1, 2, and 3. See, total rooms is 3, okay? 4 is the next one, okay? And I assign them to those indexes. And those indexes, that I did in the constructor. That's why I could use them here. I tell, take this column, room IX, it really takes number 3, Okay, that's really all what it does. The only reason you need that, just to make sure that somebody won't play around with the columns and move them around, and then when you implement that transformer, everything will be destroyed. So the trick is to do, this is really a nice trick. It's a hard one. It really is a hard one. I use here inside what is called comprehension, list comprehension. What do I mean by that? Okay, this really is hard, but I will give it a try. Okay, let me open even, you know what? Let's open, let's spend some time. This is really worth gold. And it's so practical. Let me see, where do we have the prerequisite? And here, if I recall, we do have an editor, a nice editor, which is a simple one. Yeah, here we go. That's a simple editor. Okay, let's make a list. How do we make a list? Anybody? Remember what a list is? I call it LL many times. Okay, let's write Amos and let's write Sergey. And let's do Davel. Okay. Fair enough, I have a list. I can print it. Let's print it. Print. LL. That's something we learned. Is that right? Everybody agree? That's a list of some names, and I'm printing it. So let's execute. I should really get the list right here. I got it. Okay?
Or we are not seeing your screen.
How come? It always does it for some reason. Stop, and I will share my screen. Thank you for letting me know. Now, do you see it? Do you see it, Raman?
Yes.
Okay, good. Oh, what I did, I just opened that simple editor we used the beginning of the semester. We did it last time. And this is a very important concept in Python. So I printed the list, okay? How about if I do, see that, I do another list. I'll do X for X in LN. I'm not really doing anything. I'll call it L1 and later on LL1 because I want to show you something that doesn't do anything. And then I will play with it. Because the logic is not really that easy. Okay, I'm going to print it twice. Let's put a line here. Print. So we know that we have, that's the first one and that's the second one. Let's do it. Find it. Oh, see, I got the same things. I didn't do really anything. But I wanted to emphasize the syntax. Pay attention. I'm creating a new list. But how do I do it? I do X for X in LL. How about if I do X plus Baranes? What's going to happen now? That's it. That's pretty cool. And let's put a little space here. What happened? That's pretty cool. It went for every X in LL, meaning for everything inside here, okay? Please change it to X plus Baranes. Does that make sense? That's called comprehensions of a list. Very powerful. You can put even a function inside and we'll walk through. Let's do something else. How about we change it from those ones to 1, 2, 5. Okay? And now, instead of this one, I will do it. Who wants to tell me which numbers do I see now? What should I see now? X times 5 for X in LL. See, the first one will print, it will say
5.
1, 2, 5. Is that right? Yeah, let's print only this one. I'll take this one away and we'll print it in a minute again. You see, 1, 2, 5. What am I trying to do now? What I'm telling him, for every X in LL, take X multiplied by 5. So I should really say 5 times 1, it will be 5, 10, and 25. Let's see if I'm right. Yeah, I got it. You see that? Pretty cool. Very powerful. Extremely, extremely powerful. Okay? It really is very, very useful in so many applications. And as I said, you can even use the functions there. Let's try a function. Let's see if the function will work. Okay, mole. We call it a mole equal function and sorry, function. And let's put it intentionally. I'm putting a different letter. I'll put it in A so you don't get confused. And I will do A times 10. Fair enough? So whatever I put in the A, how about we'll call it small 10. Okay? It means multiplying by 10. How about if I take this function now and just put it here? Now you can see how powerful it is. Is that right? Let's see if it works. It didn't like me. I had an error. Why I have an error? Functions. Hey, I'm writing it's like, it's funny. I'm writing it's like in JavaScript. My mistake, apology, accept my apology. This is the way you're supposed to do it in JavaScript. So apology, I should use diff. You should have fixed, correct me. This is Python. Okay, let's try it again. Yeah, it works. None, none, none. Why is it none, none, none? Anybody? Because I didn't return it. I should try it, return. Let's try it again. It works. Pretty cool. What do you think? Is that really powerful things to do? I think so. By the way, here is an exercise, something I did work on. And let's see if somebody can take the same logic. I didn't do it this way. By the way, you can do for loop. You know, it's really like doing a for loop, but it's returning it as a list. You got it? I could done this one. By the way, I was working on something before. Third, I think it's in the same here. Look at this function. This function, I'm doing stuff, but there's a place that I'm using an array. Where's my array? Not this one. Anybody see here 2011? Nope, nope. Data frame. No, not this one, not this one. Not this one. Where's the 2020? Hold a second, Control F. 2020. Oh, here it is. Look at this one, okay? Everybody see that? This is even more sophisticated, okay? What I did here, I took the range. See that? I took the range from 20 to 21, okay? And I told him, please give me tuple. See that? Give me tuple for every year in range. So the range is 2012 up to 2020, because it doesn't give me the 21. For each year, give me a tuple. The year n is 0. By the way, I don't really need it for now. I will need it later on when I put quarterly data. Okay? When I use quarterly data. And we will get into a place I will show you in which we will want to order the numbers. Next topic, okay? For next semester, I'm probably going to move it to the next semester. But let's look at this one. Let's look at this one. This is really just here. By the way, I'm really using it, as I said, it's so useful in so many. Let's look at this one, okay? Everybody agree that, in fact, this is the list. This is a range, it's a list. Everybody agree? It's going to be 2020, 2012 up to 2020, because the range starts from the first number up to the last one minus one. So I'm telling him a year in date, but I really don't want to get the year. I want to get a tuple. So let's print it. Let's see the print. This is real. I mean, I'm showing you something I'm actually working on. Fair enough? Let's look at this one. Let's just put some lines here so we can distinguish from the other one. And run it. Why it doesn't like me? What does it say? 5 years. I missed
Variable.
quarters. It should be quarter. You know what? Let me take a, because the year and a quarter. I'm going to do another look inside. How about I give you some homework? This could be a really nice homework. Here we go. You see what I got? I got a list of tuples inside. You see that? 12, 0, 2013, 0. How would you do the same things? But, you know, now I want to make that it will be for 0, for 1, for 2, for 3. What do you think? Anybody? Let's try. This is the hard one. What do you think? I didn't even think about it myself. But how would you do it?
What is the
Say-
question?
Yeah, go ahead.
What is the question?
Go ahead.
No, what are you asking for?
See, I have only 0, you see?
Yeah.
I want one row to be with 0, another row with 1, and the same years, but with 1, another row with 2, another row with 3. Why is it so important? Because see, after I get this one, I send it to a function to download all the data for 2012 This is yearly. 0 will be yearly. 1 will be first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. In financial statement, we know that's what we have. Is that right? But it could be in anything, not only financial statements, for everything. Got it?
Yeah.
So okay, you got it? So how would I do it? Anybody?
Yes.
Then for the range, we can put
We need another parameters, don't we?
For
That's a little tricky. Should I leave it to you as an exercise? See, one tempting way to do is maybe take the whole things here. Okay, no, but that's not what I want. How about if I do something like that? Maybe that will work. I have no idea. I didn't try it, but you can try. Who knows?
Yes.
Maybe it will work for range. But here we want a J. Is that right? How about for J in range 1 to 5? Will that work? I don't think so. But let's see. Maybe I'm missing an E. You know, I'm trying to do a list for of those. So we'll get 4 J's. Let's see if it works. I have no idea. I haven't tried it. Yeah, it does. Hey, amazing. What do you think? It does work. But what it did, see what it did. See, in fact, I should really have from 0 because I want the 0 as well. So I will just take this one away. Okay, see what it did. Now, could be really, really important. One day, if you take advanced programming with me, I talk about concurrency. You know, look at that. This is really 2012 0, all the 0. It's all yearly data. See that? This one will deal all the years for the first quarter. See that? Everybody got it? That's pretty
Yeah.
cool. See how quickly you can do something that you just waste time for. If you really don't know how to do it, you will waste time, but it doesn't come overnight. You have to practice and play with it. And see, it's only one row. Now, why is it so important? You have no idea how important it is. There's another function called a map. A map, I can transfer list to it, and it will run, you know, especially with multiple or multi-processing, you can have, you know, your computer has several processors. And I can tell them, you know, for the yearly data, run it as one application. Take one function, I transfer that to that function, work in a process. Simultaneously work, is that right, Sergey? And simultaneously, you work on the second one. And you have no idea how important those stuff are and how powerful it makes you if you know how to work with it. This is called list comprehension. Please, please, I'm going to ask that in the exam. Okay, I am. It's so crucial. It's so important. Okay.
Okay.
So I thought this is very important. And please go and study. There's so many excellent places. I told you W3 School has excellent website. Did you lose my screen? Do you still see my screen?
Yeah.
You do. Okay, good. I'm back in the pie chart. So all what I did here is all what I did here. It just, this is really not crucial for here, but I'm using it. For now, I'm using only yearly. That's why I didn't bother and change it. Okay. That one I will do for quarterly. I probably will do the trick that I just told you now. In fact, I just used my logic. I didn't really tried it before, and it works, and it should work if you follow the regular stuff. Okay, let's go back, finish this one for today. So we set the feed, we understood the feed, we understood the transform, and the only thing the transform needs, this is crucial. If I want to take a column by the number of the column, I do X is the data frame. All the rows, by the way, nothing, colon, nothing means all the rows. Which column I want this column, but which number is this one? I need to tell him. And this is the trick that I used here, okay? I used that comprehension, a little sophisticated, not really that much. What I did is, please notice, you can tell for call in, and there is a list. You see that?
Yes.
Everybody see that?
Yes.
Very similar to what I did for call in. And here is a list of names. By the way, this is really the names of the columns. You see, the columns I'm interested in. I'm interested in the total room. You see the total room here? I'm interested in the total bedrooms. So I put the list here. So I'm telling him for every column in here, please look at this one. Look at this one. This is the data frame in our data, correct? And look at the columns. By the way, every data frame has a property called columns. It will give you the list. It's a list of all the columns. And it has a function called index. Index tell me which number it is this column. If I give him a column, it will tell me the index inside this data frame. Another word, so he's going for every column in this 4 is for that column is finding the index in the data frame. Okay, beautiful. So all of that gave me a numbers, but it's going to give it to me as a tuple because I use the tuple and tuple works much faster. So if I want to return it as a list, I just write the word list and that's it. Okay. But don't kill yourself over that one. That's not crucial. Okay. Good. This is another word. The only thing is, please find me the index of the column. Why did I do that? If somebody tomorrow will switch this one to put it here, this code will work. You will not get confused. This part will do the job. Okay? So do try to understand that one. This is really cool. Okay? I apologize. My mistake. This one is the list. I'm turning it to a list, and the list has an index. So according to that index, that's what I'm putting, because I have already a list here. Okay, good. This is really good stuff. It's practical for manipulating data. Life is honestly 80% manipulating the data, and you will see how easy it is after you have that one, how easy it is to teach the algorithm. Okay, so we did really a lot today. Okay, we did a review of last time. I know it's hard. And then we learn also a special transformer. We learn how to use transformer. We learn how to use a simple imputer to put the mean in the missing data. We use a one hot converter, you can call it, takes a categorical data and make them as a one hot, like a vector for each one of them. And then finally, how you can write your own transformer. And the way we do it, as I said, the most important thing is to remember, I have to have those two functions. This one is something else, okay? Those two head. Usually you can get by with that one. You don't really care, okay? The transformer, okay? Transformer takes the data and the target, and it does something. In here, I'm not really doing any predictions. All what I'm doing, I'm really just adding more columns here. This is pretty cool. That's very, very cool. Later on, we'll talk about pipeline. Next time we'll talk about pipeline. You see why this structure is so important. This one, the only purpose of this one is just to get me some variables I might need. And you see, I put the algo, and I am using the algo. You see, I put self.algo. I put it internally. I didn't really have to. I do really have to because I'm using it in here. By the way, the reason I'm using here, if you have a good eye, you saw that I used, what was it? I just had it in my, yeah, I use it here. Self algo, it really is my algo that I created in the view. If you see this is algo, I'm transferring it to the constructor. And inside the constructor, as a constructor, see, is putting it internally. And the reason I have to put internally, because I'm going to use it here. Okay, I'm going to use it in the, first of all, I'm using it here. The truth of the matter, I didn't really have to, because this is the only place I'm using it, I think. Am I? Yeah, I didn't really have to because I transfer the X, the Y, household. No, I'm using the X, yeah, but I'm not using, I could have get by not having ready to keep it, but it's a habit, always a good practice. When you get a variables, you're getting here variables, put them inside. See, like I did here. I take the variable, put it internally. Take the variable, put internally. The hell was this? I always use this one. Okay?
What is room slash
Which one?
1x
Which one?
room
This
slash
one? See, the beautiful part of this one is, well, which one are you talking about?
room slash
This
room
one?
underscore 1x.
Where are you? Which line? 78?
No, 78
78.
room.
Okay. See, what happened here,
Yeah,
I'm getting a list here, is that right?
yeah.
The
But is there a new variable room underscore 1x?
It will be a number. It will be the column number. You got it?
Uh-huh.
And eventually, this is also the column number of the bedroom, the column number of the population, the column number of the household. How did I do that? I did the trick. I put all the names here inside the list. I did the comprehension for column in this list. For each one of them, I know, you know what I want you to do? Take the columns of the data frame. This is the columns of the data frame as a list. Tell me what the index of the first column, let's say, for this one. You will find it, it will give me the number. Go for the second one, it give me the number. So eventually, this is going to be 4 numbers here in a list. And after I get those 4 numbers, I'm just putting them inside a variables. Why do I do that? Because I'm going to use them here. Because here I want to pick it up by the number of the column. I could have made my life much, much easier. You know, I could have used, you know, the first one the room index, this is lazy programmer. Okay, any small change, it will destroy it. If I did this way, it will work just fine. But if you change the location of that column to another location, because you're playing with the columns as you go along, okay, it will not work anymore. Got it?
Yeah.
So that's why I take the index, and also it's a very good instructions to learn how to, by the way, when you change the column name or whatever, this is really a good exercise for you to learn comprehension, how you put it, and then how, by the way, this is really the default. If you didn't make any changes and you didn't transfer anything, say if if I transfer the data, maybe I transferred it from a different place, okay? Maybe here the name's even different. The name that I'll put here is the name that come from the algo. It's a very sophisticated one to make sure the code will work, even if you give you freedom when you program and you want to, don't have to come here and fix it. So when I transfer the algo, I'm basing only on the algo. You see, I take algo trade data, take their columns, and let's say in the algo, I already changed. This is not the original, you know, it's already the order of the column. I changed it in the algo. And I don't want to remember. I just know that in the algo, this is their name. Which column are there? The first, the second. You notice we're adding columns, we're moving them, we're dropping. It could really change the whole things. Okay? So that's why. So just go over that. It's a good exercise. If you didn't get it, nothing happened. This is just a little sophistication. The key point for me is to understand a transformer has a fit and transform. Now I want to use it. With that, we'll finish. I'm going to use it and see how elegant I can use it. See how elegant I can use it. Pay attention. I create attribute address, just like the imputer, just like the one hot, it becomes to be the same. And this one has those two functions, fit and transform. See that? That's pretty cool. And I go to algo data values. So I'm implementing it on this one. Pay attention. I'm only transferring, okay? What am I transferring? I'm transferring the X. Is that right? Correct? Got it? What is really this one, by the way? By the way, this is really something I ought to explain it to you. This one, it's a data frame. When I do that, values is automatically converted it to a NumPy because a converter or a transformer must get a NumPy. It doesn't know how to work not on a NumPy. So that's why I transferring it to a NumPy. I'm done. Am I right? That's pretty cool. By the way, you see I got only two columns here. Let's change that one to a 2. See how beautiful it is. And let's rerun it. Yep, I got an error. Why should I? It didn't like me. Did I make any mistake? I destroyed something? Oh, this is fine. This is fine. This is fine. Where's the error? Anybody catch the arrow? View, see this one, housing. This shouldn't be an arrow. Why do I get an arrow? Did I do a mistake here? Did I move something by mistake? No, I didn't. Housing attribute, data frame, this is fine. So hold a second. This one give me an error. Why? No, hold a second. No, this is it. Attributes. Yeah, I know why. I'm missing one more here. Let me do the following. Let me just hold a second. Title only. Let me take that one away. It's already an error. If you have it, in a second I will explain, okay? I'll put it back. I just want to show you the title that we have to add. It's already an error, okay? Bear with me. Let's go back. Refresh. Open. And custom transform. Again, I'm getting an error. Why? Why this time? Yeah, I know. There's another one, another place. Hold a second. Take this one away too. I will open it up in a second. And then you understand really, there's no error and you really understand the, one more time. And transform, custom, here we go, it works. Now, please pay attention. What are we getting here? What is it? I wanted to print, let me print this one here. You will not like it. Hold a second. I tell you what I would do. I try to avoid to do it two-stage, but I will show it to you right away. Bear with me a second. I need to transfer it to a data frame so I need to add here another one. And the third one is, if you see the third column, if we have add true, okay, we're adding another, okay, we're adding another bedroom per room. You see that? Agree? We're adding another one, another column. So all what I have to do really, if I do want to edit, I really have to add this one as well. Otherwise it will not print. So now it should be fine. I wanted to do it two ways, but I didn't want it to change the functions too much. Here we go, it works now. Now you can see you have the third column. You see that, Raman?
Yeah.
Okay, and you have to be careful. In fact, a good way to do it is really maybe this one, getting this one. You know, you can take this stage, by the way, okay, and get it out as a data frame if that's the way you need it. But eventually, we will use it not as a data frame, we'll use it as a NumPy. And in the NumPy, I rather to have it this way as a NumPy. This is returning it as a NumPy. Okay, later on I'm transferring it to a data frame just to show stuff, but eventually in the algorithm we want to use it as a NumPy, and that's why I didn't. And this one, it just really depends if you put it true or false, if you want that variable or you don't want that variable. Okay, that's another heavy duty one. We really learn a very important component and how to use it and transform. Next time we'll talk about pipeline. Let's see, next time we'll talk about pipeline and scaling, very, very important. This one really tells you, you know, when you're working on a project, you do stage number one, let's say missing data. We do imputation. Okay, then you see what we did now. We added more columns. And we maybe do other things. It becomes to be so many things and you get lost. And that's what you use pipeline. You put them all together and you forget about it. Now becomes to be your data. And now you can, by the way, before the pipeline will do scaling. Scaling means, you know, usually algorithm works very good if the numbers is from 0 to 1. Moreover, if you have some variables, big numbers, and one has small numbers, it will affect the importance of a variable automatically. So you have to scale it. So we're going to do another things. We're going to do scaling. So we have several parts in the whole process before even we get to the model. You see, only then we get into use machine learning algorithm. So in order to put everything together, we'll use pipeline and we gather all of them and then we'll have one word that does everything on the database. And then we forget about it. Now we can focus on the model. And that's really will be the most important part of the course. It's getting this part. That's really not a simple one. Then we talk about two types of algorithm. One will be a logistic regression, and the other one will be a random forest. I won't get into deeper how the mathematics works. That's for a different class, but you will see you can be useful in predictions, and that's really beautiful. Okay, so for next time, we get this one, and we might even start that one. Next week, I'm gonna be in Uganda I'm leaving on Tuesday. So can we have a session on Sunday instead or on Monday night?
I think, hello?
Yeah, I hear you.
Sure.
Is that okay, guys? So again,
Demain, si on peut faire, il y a voyager, si on peut faire cours lundi ou vendredi ou dimanche.
Ok, si je vous suis, mais je n'arrive pas à travailler sur
Le lundi
le
après.
programme parce que c'est